Thank you all for joining us today for our webinar, All Your Questions About XBRL Certification Answered. We will begin now. I'd like to take a moment to introduce our presenters for today. First of all, I'm David Nitchman. I'm the staff liaison to the XBRL Certification Board for XBRL International. And your presenters today are Roger Debreceny. He's the Scheidler Distinguished Professor of Accounting at the University of Hawaii. He's the chair of the XBRL Certification Board, which is the chief oversight body that developed the program and is responsible for Q&A. Roger will quality assurance. Roger will explain a little bit about that later. And Michal Piechocki, who's the chief executive of the Business Reporting Advisory Group. They're our main subject matter experts. They're responsible for guiding a number of XBRL implementations all over the world. We're very lucky to be involved with them. So without anything else, I will turn it over to Roger to explain what we're going to talk about today and to get us started. Roger?
Thank you, Dave, and welcome to everybody on the webinar as we discuss the first formal steps by XBRL International to develop certification around the XBRL standard. Here's our agenda. Pretty standard: why, what, how, test. Well, that's a little bit unusual, I guess, for this webinar, and it would look exactly as how to test around this certification. Our next steps and questions and answers. This is the very first certification that exists around the XBRL standard, which is a bit surprising, isn't it? We've been going now with XBRL for a decade, and there is a tremendous international adoption around XBRL with all sorts of different information value chains. So it's taken us a little while to get going, but now we are up and running with this first foundation certificate. And that mention that I made of the global adoption of XBRL has driven our thinking in the way that we build this first certification. It is a global certificate. It's not linked to any particular adoption of XBRL. It's not linked to any particular taxonomy. It's a global and generic view of the XBRL standard and the way that it typically gets adopted. And we'll stress this in the webinar, that we're trying to meet in this foundation certificate the needs of the folk that are involved with the adoption issues, the business people, and the technologists, the specialists behind building XBRL-enabled information value chains. So it's meeting both business and technology needs. XBRL International's first offering is this foundation certificate. It's the equivalent of 10 hours of face-to-face content, but because XBRL is adopted in so many different countries around the world, we made a very early decision that the only way to deliver this material successfully was to do that in an online fashion. So this is online learning, but a little different, as we'll discuss, than a typical online course. So in essence, this is XBRL International mandated. It's global. It's provided not by a third party, but by XBRL International. And it's importantly, what this certification does is to provide both individuals and organizations that will be sponsoring their employees with very valuable, practical level of competency certified by XBRL International and attested by a formal test at the end of the process. So this is a global benchmark of quality. Let's flip. Now, as I mentioned, the foundation certificate, and what you're seeing on the slide at the moment is what the foundation certificate will look like for those people that pass the test and take out the certificate. It's meeting the needs of business specialists and of technology specialists. And the idea here is that when we build adoption, when we build XBRL-enabled value chains, we need to bring together the parties that are involved in companies, in regulators, and in a variety of interested parties, and in the users of the data, and they have all of their particular needs in terms of generating information and using that information. And they need to understand enough of XBRL to know what its advantages are, what its potential barriers to the use of XBRL. Need enough of the technology to be effective in the rollout of XBRL adoptions. Equally, XBRL technologists need to understand the business issues. So what this foundation certificate does is attack both business and technology issues. Now, in the future, we are likely to roll out at XBRL International additional certification that will go into more depth for business and technology folks that will be in depth. But at the moment, this first foundation certificate, as the name suggests, is designed to cope, to meet the needs of all of the parties that are involved in XBRL adoptions. It could be future adoptions or current adoptions. Let's flip. So now let's consider who is involved in the rollout of this first foundation certificate. And as Dave mentioned, I'm the chair of the XBRL certification board. We report to XBRL International Board of Directors, and we have two or three important roles. Firstly, the certification board, the XCB, provides guidance to the board of directors in the direction that we should be going in terms of certification. And we set directions for our two parties, in BRAG and ITpreneurs, that I'll introduce here in a moment. But our most critical role, our ongoing role, is to provide quality assurance on the materials that BRAG and ITpreneurs are developing. The members of the board are the members of the board are drawn from XBRL specialists in Europe, in Latin America, and in Asia. And in particular, I want to mention my colleague Eric Cohen from PricewaterhouseCoopers, who has been particularly important in the detailed work of quality assurance. Now, we couldn't do this on our own, and we have reached out early in the process and brought in two important partners. The first partner is BRAG, and Michal will join us here in a moment. He has been, along with his colleagues at BRAG, the lead subject matter expert, developing all of the content for the foundation certificate. And Michal and his team have worked together with ITpreneurs. ITpreneurs is a well-established company in the online delivery of learning, particularly in the technology area, with products around ITIL, COBIT, Prince, and so on. They've been at this for quite some time, and BRAG's role is to develop content. ITpreneurs is to do the instructional design work around that, develop all of the online interactions, the multimedia, and so on. And those parties, BRAG and ITpreneurs, have worked together, and XCB's role is then to provide quality assurance on all of that material to ensure that you get, when you take the certificate, the highest quality learning environment. So this is a tripartite partnership between the XCB, BRAG, and ITpreneurs. And now Michal, let me introduce Michal, who will pick up and talk about the design of the certificate and the rollout.
Thank you, Roger. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to guide you through the content of our foundation certificate course. Let me first tell you a few things about how is the course delivered to meet the requirements of multiple stakeholders of the XBRL standard. When we embarked on development of the course and the exam, we discussed and agreed on several principles which were meant to guide us further. Firstly, as Roger already mentioned, we needed a global reach for our learning and certification mechanism. We had numerous discussions and considered a number of options like direct face-to-face certificates and so on. And quite naturally, we decided that the online course and exam are both guaranteeing the global access, and they are sufficient for us for the foundational course purposes. Next, we had a discussion around the methodology and quite obviously the e-learning methods and tools available. We found them basically fulfilling our requirements and to deliver basically the quality information about the standard. Finally, from the beginning, we knew that we wanted the course and exam to be engaging, compelling, and supportive for participants throughout the learning process. So we decided to follow an interactive pattern. This interaction in e-learning courses is actually a bit more challenging to be introduced, to be developed, but it is also supposed to be the most valuable for participants. So unlike a simple set of slides with optional audio, interaction in our course basically allows the participants to be involved in the analysis and the decision-making process about adoption of the XBRL standards and consideration of its value. Flip, please. Following the e-learning practices, we focused on several aspects for the optimal preparation of our course. The SMEs working together with the design instructors set up real-life roles that allow to take a look at the standard from various perspectives. Basically, you will find in the course several individuals who express numerous opinions. They have different attitudes, they ask different questions. Sometimes they are even critical towards XBRL. We do hope that such a variety will help you actually understand the challenges and the benefits in a fairly comprehensive manner. And since the XBRL standard evolved into a set of specifications and best practices with multitude of implementation around the world and the experiences coming from those different implementations, in the foundational course, we decided to focus on only those essential elements. And we categorize those essential elements into logical learning modules. Most of our early research conducted prior to the course design showed also that our worldwide audience wants to decide about the timeline of their learning. Therefore, the course is designed to allow self-paced exploration of the topics, and it also includes multiple recap sections to help you go through the material again and make sure that you do understand the sections explained. And one of the key factors impacting the e-learning is basically the user-friendliness of the platform. The key component here is the interface that should basically enable a smooth and uninterrupted learning process. So we undertook an effort to make sure that our interface is supportive during your XBRL, so to say, adventure. And lastly, I think most importantly, we strongly believe in using a variety of means to deliver knowledge. Hence, within the course, you will find multiple learning styles: audio, visuals, text, exercises, questions, and some additional materials that we hope will really guide you in your XBRL journey. Flip, please. One of our key challenges during development of the course was to establish a single case study that would resonate well with the diversified audience. The diversified audience, if you will, is actually including not only business and IT professionals, but also representatives from business and regulatory organizations, representatives from broad range of industries. We needed to make our case study actually a single case study responding to the needs of those various audiences as much as possible. To facilitate such variety of perspectives, we designed a case study involving multiple views and attitudes towards XBRL. And during the course, you will notice a consultant that will walk you through the business needs and technical aspects of the standard. In the course, you will also find real-life examples that we hope will engage you in the discussion held between the actors and will allow you to understand the topics presented from a holistic perspective. Importantly, based on our experience, actually, we made sure that the case study resembles the real-life situation. So we drew from our experience from real-life projects adopting and implementing XBRL for various purposes. And that means for you that you may likely find those questions posted by various actors, by different characters, to be similar to those that you may experience in your XBRL discussions in your organizations. Please. As part of our case study, we designed 7 real-life characters and job roles that basically imitate attitudes and dialogue happening all across the world while considering the XBRL implementation. So you may notice during your exercises that these roles, again, express various levels of knowledge, express either resistance or support toward the changes, different emotional and communication styles, as well as overall focus of their questions. You may notice that some of the characters have specific focus of their questions. We hope that such a variety will help you understand the universe of these different advantages and also challenges related to XBRL adoption. And we hope that it will be a guide for you in your evaluation and analysis process. Next, please. And in order to break the discussion flow, not to make it boring, you will find this discussion flow to be, of course, the primary one in our course, and we hope that it will enable you to play with the concepts. We actually prepared a number of exercises to test the learning objectives. These exercises are provided in multiple styles to make the course more appealing and interactive, and they are supported by quizzes and a complete sample exam that will help you hopefully pass our test.
And now we're launching a quiz. If you could just click which you think is the most valuable feature of the XBRL Foundation course, and we'll get some immediate feedback. Michal, back to you.
All right, so as you have seen, there is basically the quizzes that are presented, that are included in our course. I think there is also another thing that is important about our course. Some of your organizations may actually consider, and we do hope and encourage that, to bring the XBRL foundational course into your HR and into your management organization, to evaluate your employees and basically help them assess their knowledge. So we aligned the XBRL course in together with the standards, with the international e-learning standards like AIC, or SCORM. And with this alignment, we aim to enable the integration of this course within the corporate learning management systems and establish the certificate as part of the demanded formal evaluation of the employee's XBRL understanding. So let's now take a brief look at the different modules that we provide within our course. You will find 5 modules, taking you step by step from basics to more advanced topics related to XBRL. We begin with placing the XBRL standard in the context of the entire electronic business reporting universe. The first module basically sets the stage for the course. It introduces the participants, the different actors and roles, and drawing on the challenges related to electronic business reporting expressed by those different characters. The first module establishes the foundation for introduction of the standard and compares it to some alternatives. In the second module, we expand the understanding of XBRL by taking a journey to the beginning of the standard. So we are looking back at the history and discussing its evolution. Further, we talk about international applications and experiences from various countries. And thus, we are introducing you to key values and challenges commonly found during those implementations. In the third module, it embraces the overall architecture of the standard. Its key components and their base relations. And we base this module on the annual report example. In this module, the characters discuss reporting scenarios and functions of XBRL provided by the key specifications. Module number 4 focuses on taxonomies and instance documents, and we hope that it enables a deeper understanding of connection between business definitions and technical concepts, which both constitute the XBRL architecture. You will find this module the largest one, and you may find some new technical names used and new technical conventions used. This module is aims to comprehensively introduce you to this architectural concepts. In the last module, the characters discuss some implementation aspects and talk about the value chains commonly found in the business world. This chapter concludes the foundational certificate course, and it provides some information about the implementation aspects that you may find some practical hints for your considerations. So, Roger, now I believe you may want to talk about the exam, the test.
Yeah, thank you, Michal. And let's quickly cover the test, which will provide the recognition for taking out the foundation certificate. It's a 1-hour online test, but importantly, it's proctored by a responsible person, typically in the organization that is supporting the employee that's taking out this foundation certificate. Questions have been developed based on the learning materials by an international panel of XBRL experts, and as Michal mentioned earlier, it's supported by a full practice test that the person that's enrolling in the foundation certificate can take prior to the taking the final foundation exam. Okay, so that's the foundation certificate. What's next? And this is by no means the end of XBRL International's involvement in the development of online and perhaps face-to-face courses. First on our agenda is to consider rolling out the foundation certificate in other languages, and actively on our consideration is Japanese, Spanish, French, and so on. And you should see some development of this in the coming few months. And then we have a range of options that we're addressing now in terms of future certification that will build on top of the foundation certificate. Probably the most important of those is a higher level technology-based certificate. But there are alternatives too for implementation-specific specializations around particular XBRL adoptions. And clearly we also have a role to play in continuing professional education, an hour or two of learning around key XBRL factors and technologies. Let's ask you if you're planning to take the XBRL Foundation certificate. And just this should take only a few seconds. Let's see whether people on the webinar are planning to take out the foundation certificate. Now, Michal, come back in and let's pick up, before we take any questions from the webinar participants, let's pick up on some of the questions that have already been asked around this. Do I need to take the course together with the test? And this is something that we talked about very early in the piece, and the answer is yes. You cannot take the test on its own. You must work your way through the course. And the reason for that relates to the design of this foundation certificate. It covers both business and technology issues. And as a result, we think it's important that if you come from a business side, you understand some of the technology and the reverse. Michal, maybe you take the second question. How will the course help me in my particular project?
Well, my experience in delivering various projects shows that pretty much any of them has a common component. And these common components actually are around the taxonomies and instance documents, the architectures, and understanding the overall purpose of XBRL. So I believe that for anyone interested in using XBRL practically, this is the foundation. It doesn't respond to all the technical questions, or it doesn't provide you detailed knowledge how to run your project. However, it does provide you a understanding of the broad context of XBRL. It gives you certain knowledge about the possibilities, the opportunities within the XBRL, both technical and business ones. And so I think it is extremely useful for anyone who is willing, who is embarking on a project for pretty much any purpose. As we discussed, our case study spans the various reporting purposes.
Okay, will I have a designation after my name? The answer is no. And the reason for this is that, remember, this is the equivalent of 10 hours of learning. It doesn't rise to the standard of something that you could put after with a designation. It's possible that when we move on to the next level with the foundation certificate, with professional standards that will come after the certificate, that a designation will be applied. But no, not at this stage. Michal, let's have you take the next one. Can I download the course content?
No, you are not allowed to download the course content. This is actually an IP of the XBRL International, so please mind that. However, within the course, we provide you links to external materials. We provide you links to some projects, to some websites. So please feel free to download any of those, whichever of those are available. However, please note that the course content cannot be copied or reused without the consent of XBRL International.
Is there any XBRL software that comes with the course? And Michal, maybe take that quickly.
No, there is no XBRL software that comes with the course. However, again, we do encourage you to take a look at the xbrl.org website, where a number of tools are listed, including the open source tools and including the commercial tools, which are available as evaluation versions or demo versions. There is a number of those available, so we do not provide any specific software, and the course is actually software neutral, which means that from the course you can use pretty much any tool that is compliant with the XBRL specifications.
What do I need to know before taking the course? And we've had this, as you can imagine, several times. You need to know nothing about XBRL or XML prior to taking this course. As the name suggests, it's a foundation certificate. All of the material that we teach in this course assumes that the participants have had no exposure to this at all. And so if you are looking at XBRL for an adoption or have decided on XBRL, you can get up to speed with XBRL through this course without any prerequisites. Is this course designed for IT experts only? Absolutely not. It's designed for accountants, for knowledge experts, regulators, lawyers. This is designed for a wide group of participants in XBRL-enabled value chains, not just for technologists. And Michal, maybe take the last one. If I have troubles with the interface, what do I do?
As you said on the last webinar, you scream. No, actually you don't. There is a support and there is a help desk that you are welcome to contact, and they are very quick in responding to questions. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any troubles with the interfaces. As I said, dedicated contact is for your support.
XBRLcertification.com is your one-stop shop for learning about this program and any subsequent programs. XBRLcertification.com. Dave, back to you.
Great, thank you. We'll open the floor for questions if people have them. Use your chat function. We do have one question about CPE credits, whether taking the training and the test will yield CPE credits for accountants and other professionals. The answer is that we are working on that. We're in the process of recruiting some CPAs to review the course for NASBA, which is the association that governs CPE credits, and we hope to have those in place soon. The other question we had is, will there be a place where all the certificate holders will be listed? That answer is yes, there will be. There will be a central registry where employers, other certificate holders, and potential certificate holders can go and see whether their colleagues and competitors have been certified. So we'll just hold for another moment.
Here's another question, Dave. Will there be any job placement facility to leverage our certification? No, we're not planning that at the moment. It's not really the role of XBRL International to provide that sort of a service.
No, but our LinkedIn group does have a jobs feature, and we'll be working to promote certification there, and just generally within the industry. It's our hope that as employers see the value of the certification, that it will become, if not a requirement, then at very least something that potential XBRL professionals can use to get a leg up in the marketplace. We do have a question about the demo. Some people have had trouble accessing it. If I can see, I'm not sure who that is. If you can email join@xbrl.org, I will either get you a better link or a copy of the demo that you can view. There's another question on the foundation course for different languages. Roger, I don't know if you want to readdress that.
Yes, so of course the certificate is only available in English at the moment, but there's a clear need in other languages, and the usual languages that you would expect if you looked at global patterns of language and where the patterns of XBRL adoption are. So Japanese, French, Spanish, Chinese, these are on our list to consider, and we're working most actively in considering rolling out in Japanese. That may well be the first language that we do. Of course, the major investment is to get the course done, and that is done. Leveraging into other languages will be relatively straightforward. The only issue that we have, and it's a difficult issue, is that all of the XBRL standards themselves are in English, and there are no XBRL formal standards and languages other than English. So that presents a bit of a challenge, but by no means an insurmountable challenge.
Our next question is, once we complete the certification, are we going to, as in XII, are we going to send the certificate, or is it downloadable? The answer to that is, once you complete the test, you will be mailed your certificate and a pin that you can wear to go along with it. So you will be provided that. That seems to be our final question. So if neither of our panelists have anything to add, we will wrap up for today. Thank you all very much for your time. As I mentioned, we will be following up with some links and other information that you can use. I'd like to thank our panelists for their time, and we'll wrap up for today. Thank you very much.